what I'm actually going to do right here is I'm going to drop in a changeling, and I'm going to try to see what's going on. So this is something that I've been experimenting with, is keeping an overseer with my base and dropping changelings and sending them at the enemy army, and seeing if I can figure out what's going on. So if we check this out right now, he can see this Marine. He's probably wondering why that Marine is, not moving, so he must know that it's a changeling. But now that I know that his army is moving out, or at least I know that it's not there, probably mobile, I'm going to rush out over here, and I'm going to be able to get a very good surround off, and the banglings coming in, just rolling all over everything. The entire army goes down, and there's really not much he could do about that right there. When your troops are so stacked like that and the tanks are unsieged, they really have nothing that they can do. So running in here, if we check this out, my army is vastly, vastly larger than his. He's going to be able to get a tank up here on the ledge and rain down just, fiery death upon all of my Zerglings. I do not have +1 armor, so all of these troops are dying from one shot. The siege tank has 10 kills already. And rushing in here, this is one thing that, kind of happened, is that I didn't properly manage my army. All of these Zerglings are just getting eaten alive right now, and this attacking group is actually going to get pretty shot up with very, very little damage actually done to the enemy base. So these stagger buildings actually perfectly did their job right there by defending this out. And as we can see, he's morphing another command center. But the army tab is just so large on my part. I have more harvesters than he does, and I really actually need to be migrating some of these guys away from here because there's very few mineral patches, definitely hardcore oversaturation, and this is just embarrassing how bad my inject larva has been over these last few games. I'm really kind of sickened by that. Puke, bitch. Get your shit on there. That's awful. So just looking at this, it's going to be very, very hard for him to get back in here. I'm just using my mutas more or less now to harass him, force stims, keep him on edge, and just keep these troops moving. Anything I can to frustrate him and to keep him locked into his base. So he will be expanding over here. I have Mutalisks just kind of chilling over here in this part of the map, and now seeing where his army is and seeing the composition of it, I'm flying everything I have over here. I've got so many deadly green landmines. I've got 24 banglings, and I need to just find out where the position of the army is. All I need to do is not fight it with the tanks in siege, and this is kind of what I'm talking about right here, where I'm going to drop in the changeling, move him into the base, and even if this guy doesn't live that long, like right here, I'm able to get just a brief enough glance. I can see that the army is mobile, and I'm going to feel very free to move in because, tanks not sieged, and again, I'm going to just get an awesome surround off on this army. There's really very little room that he can micro. The banglings just coming in, face melting every unit on the ground, and that's basically going to be the game right there. Just massive assault, and Protean leaves the game not even a GG. So with this game right here, one thing that you gotta understand, if you're turtling up like this, you cannot afford to build 3 or 4 barracks plus a factory, plus a starport, plus an engineering bay. That's just so much tech off of one base. I mean, you can do it, but it takes too long to get it done. And I really do not understand why, Terran players especially feel the need just to sit in this base for so long. I mean, I've seen some great Terran players that, I think they were Zerg at some point, or I think they, have been infested by Zerg and came back to the other side because they play just like a Zerg where they expand, they play very aggressive while they expand, and they're the toughest ones to beat because if you're not on, an above heading of the Terran when it comes to the economy, it's so hard to keep up with them because our units can get chewed through very quickly by, cheaper units. Like Mutalisks are easily countered by Marines, Zerglings and Banglings can be countered by Marines and tanks if micro properly, so we really need to throw all we've got into beating the Terran on a defensive level. So if you guys just expand more, you can be really, really deadly. And if we take a look at this, I was easily able to take my third, keep it up, keep some decent saturation on it. Although my saturation is really light, I could have used another 12 harvesters, give or take, and that would have, put me on an even better economic footing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the game. Thank you very much. This is Malachi Cowtipper signing out. Alright, audio test number 1, just going to see how loud this comes out, and if it comes out clearly, and if it does, I will be an incredibly happy camper.